Hi guys, welcome back to the garage. More on the 550. Last time you left us, we found a charging problem which I've not yet addressed. All the cleaning made things better, so I have a few avenues to explore yet before we get to the bottom of that. However, I found another couple of things. So let's go and have a look. This time we're going down. Okay, so this is the first problem. For the first time since I've had it, I left the bike on the side stand and we're leaking oil. And it's coming out under the gear change. So there will be an oil seal from the box on that shaft somewhere. So we need to get that off. We shall explore, but I'll get it on the centre stand first and then we'll have a look. Okay, so 10 millis to get the gear change off. On the splines. Splines are good. Bit of movement in the shaft. 10 millis for our little cover, which I'm assuming has to come off. As I say, I haven't got a manual yet, but I will get one. Honest. That should have our starter map underneath, which it does. And then this has to come off now then. Will I need to remove that footrest? I don't know is the answer. Let's see. Oh, JIS screwdriver again. Oh, tight. Quite corroded. Considering the cases are so clean externally, they're quite corroded. Very gentle wiggle. Yes. And we're losing liquid. Seems to be water in there as well. Right, let me just show you that closer up. Okay, so oil pressure switch, which is dry. Oil pump, which is pretty much dry. I'll double check that, but no, it's pretty dry. And that's your, yeah, it's got to be coming right there. I mean, that's chain lube, but there's also oil in with it. So I'll just clean all this off, but I'm pretty certain it's the oil seal. Right, I'll pop the chain off because I'm going to have to take this sprocket off to really get at the shaft. So should have done it before I took the chain off, shouldn't I? Silly me. There we go, I'll jam it in there. That was really silly of me. Anyway. 10 millis, some sort of retaining plate, yep, twist and pull. And our sprocket, which we shall clean up and have a look at. Right. So there's nothing leaking out of that main seal behind the sprocket, which is good. It all seems to be down here. So let's dig this crud out and bring it back. Right, that's a bit cleaner. And there's our seal there. And that was where the oil was. There's nothing coming out of the main output sprocket seal, that's good. There's nothing out of that seal, and there's no sign of anything coming out anywhere on the oil pump either. So it's just that seal. So I will order one, and then when it arrives, we'll swap it over. Right, the next problem is the tank. Now, when we first looked at it in episode 1, it was looked very clean inside, which it is, very, very clean inside. However, when I was fiddling about with the carbs, I noticed some suspicious staining on the underside, which we're going to look at more closely now because we've got a problem. So the petrol tap has got 2 pipes on it, both of which look like they've been replaced very recently, nice and clean. And then the tank should have a rubber fitment block at the rear, which is missing, and then there's 2 rubber bongs at the front. So just pop the pipes off, take them off. There's also a breather pipe underneath as well, which you won't be able to see because you've got to put your hand in and disconnect it. But there is one, I'll show you when it comes off. So let's get the tank off. Pipes are off. So there's your breather, which fits on a stub on the inside of the tank. I'll show you that when it's on the bench. So onto the bench we're going to go. The tank slots into the rubber sleeve there, and then the other half attaches to the bike, and that's missing. Right, so what's our problem? It is there. There's 2 tiny little marks there where it looks like it's rusted through, and then it seems to have spread down there. Whether there's a bit round there as well, I don't know. But it is tiny. So the plan is to take off our petrol tap first of all, which I think is 22 milli. Going to have to be my very large adjustable, because that's all I can find at the minute. It's not tight, in fact. There we go. And there could be our problem. There's actually rust particles on the bottom. Now when you look inside the tank, from the top, it looks really clean. So there must be rust sediment along the bottom, very bottom of the tank, in the seam and along this part. So the plan is to get rid of all the paint. I'm going to use magic metal on the outside on that little bit there, because that's the only bit showing any sign of distress. That there, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, it's like a little crater. Anyway, magic metal across that, maybe across the whole area there. And then seal the inside of the tank. Now, I used Pour 15 last time, and I was less than impressed. Despite doing everything correctly, it wasn't great. That's just my experience. Others clearly will differ, looking at the reviews it gets online. So that's just me perhaps being unlucky, I don't know. So I'm going to go back to using a resin-based sealer, which I used on my Bonneville with some success. Now, I drained that tank until no more would come out, and we're still losing petrol. Let me just tidy that up before we move on. It actually traps quite a lot in the bottom, because as I say, I drained this completely on the pet cup. That's a lot of fuel to be left sitting in the bottom. Yeah, that's nearly, how much is in that? Certainly a litre and a bit. But it's clean. Right, let's go put this in a container. Right, so I'll take the flap off. Oh, and it's still leaking fluid. Right, the cap seems to be held in by two 10mm nuts. Oh. Shouldered with a sprung metal plate to act as a flipping mechanism. The cap unscrews, obviously. Now, I thought there was a chain on these, but there isn't on mine. The rubber seal's okay. And then the locking mechanism appears to be distorted on mine. Maybe just get some pliers. I think if I squeeze that together it'll come out. There we go. So that just springs in there. That's it. Now, what I thought was the tank breather isn't. The plastic pipe earlier, which I thought was a tank breather, is in fact a drain. So any spilt fuel that goes in there drains out through the plastic tube underneath. So that explains that. Right. So, our badges appear to be just glued on, stuck on. Try a very thin screwdriver. Is it on a pin? I wonder. Yeah, it's on a pin. Right, so I'm going to need two screwdrivers. There we go. Right, so it's on pins. I thought it was glued. That's okay. That needs repainting, the black's not very good. But that will go back on. Good. The Super Sport's obviously a transfer. There we go. Yeah, I think we just get a small brush and black those back in. Right. Stripper time. I've just taken the paint off around here for the minute to see what's going on. Now the seam appears to be absolutely fine and there's no indication of it splitting or separating at all, which is good. Our little crater which we found is definitely leaking. It is a pinhole. Why it's gone there I do not know, but for some reason there is literally a tiny, tiny hole. So that needs filling. The rest of it seems okay, to be honest. I'll probably do that bit there. I might just do a smear there now while we're here. And then the other thing is, where the stub has been brazed in for the tap screw, there's just the merest hint of a gap at the edge of the braze. I don't think it is leaking, but I'll put some magic metal on that as well, I think. So, there's nothing fancy about it. I suspect this stuff is available under lots of different brand names, and I think they all operate on exactly the same principle. So I'm just going to cut a slice. Very small amount because we don't need very much. Mix it up. Which is what activates it. With a very strong epoxy smell. Right, now I have no doubt it says in the instructions for this, which I no longer have, that you shouldn't get on your fingers, but I'm old, I don't care, but I strongly recommend that you read the instructions and follow them, and don't be an idiot like me. Right. It's hot in here today and it's starting to go off already. Normally you get a bit longer than this. Okay, that'll do anyway. Another slightly suspect up there. And a bit round out. I really don't think this is leaking, but we'll give it a bit anyway. Right, I've gone right round the edge of the tap as well. Okay, so I'm not actually expecting that to completely seal the leak. If it is, the pinhole should be okay. The rest of it is just precautionary, because when I do the sealant on the inside of the tank, the combination of the two will hopefully stop it all. Now, I won't bother sanding all of that down because it's underneath the tank. So I'll just get covered in paint and that'll do. I may take the edges off it, but I'm not going to go mad. Right, so leave that to go off. Final job for this video is to start getting ready for the service. The oil seal is ordered, as I mentioned. I've got an oil filter coming. I'll have to go and get some oil from my local shop. So I couldn't find a spark plug socket that would fit in my armoury of spark plug sockets. So I had to buy one, which is irritating. I've got a set of 3 thin walls, which will do the job, made by Laser, and I think probably get them all made overseas, I would imagine. Mostly tool people that do nowadays. Oh, that's a bit loose. But it doesn't matter because it's done the job. Or it will have done when I can get the spark plug out. Oh, you little so-and-so. Obviously not adept at getting them out yet. So there we are. So the black, because obviously it's been sitting idling whilst I've had it, but they don't look old. So clean them, re-gap them, they'll go back in, and then I will drain the oil while we're waiting, which you can just sit, although it's cold, it can just sit for a couple of days, because I'm not expecting the oil seal for a couple of days. These are all evenly black. And then we'll take tappet covers off as well, which I think are 17mm. It won't be that size, will it? No. 17mm, that's an 18 deep. 17mm. So I'll do all those and drop the oil, which obviously... Oh my God. Okay. Oh, somebody likes them tight. Right, so you don't want to see me undo these. So when you come back next time, we'll change the gearbox oil seal, we'll have a check of the points, do the tappets, clean and gap the plugs, put them back in, change the oil and filter, and hopefully it'll be all good and we can get back to trying to sort out the charging problem, which I suspect I'm going to have to take the regulator off again and have a closer look at. I don't want to just lay out for a new voltage regulator rectifier without the need, because I'm pretty certain that it must be something fairly simple looking at all these parts. I think it's just lack of use. Right, so that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Call back as we plod our way on through. The next video will be about all this lot of the bits to come. If not, it'll be about sorting out the paintwork. So until then, thanks for watching. See you soon.